Hey everyone, how's it going today? I hope you all are doing well, and I hope that you all are as excited as me to get into some Factorio Space Age. I know it's been out for a few days, and I will be honest, I've been doing nothing but playing. This has been a super fun update to Factorio, and I'm so excited to share the update with you guys and all of the new and awesome things that come along with it. There's a lot to get into, and we've got a long ways to go. So we're going to be jumping in today to a playthrough. This is completely vanilla. I have no mods whatsoever. My goal is to try and get as many of the Factorio achievements as I can that I don't already have. I already have quite a few of the new ones from Space Age, but we're going to be trying to get as many as possible. So you can see here I've got a pretty interesting seed that I've generated here. There's a ton of water, which is pretty crazy. I don't know exactly what happens over here to the edges, but it seems like there's a pretty cool potential use for some of the new train bridges that we'd be able to use to go across here, and probably pretty defensible as well. I've got the size turned up for most of these. Richness I've set at 100, so hopefully we've got enough here. We've got some pretty big iron patches. Probably gonna have to go looking for some copper, it looks like, but I think we're gonna try this seed out here. I like all the I like the fact that we have a lot of iron. We've got a lot of oil right over here, so we're looking good. This is a rail world. I've kept pretty much everything else set up correctly, or the base settings for all of the other planets. For terrain, I only turned down trees a bit because trees are the real enemy. And I left everything else the exact same. I don't know what I just changed. I changed something. What did I change? Oh, I changed this. Let's up that again. Whoops. And then, yeah, I didn't change the water at all. This is how it was set up. And then the only other thing I really did is I turned off cliffs on novice because I don't really want to deal with that, but we'll leave the other ones on because those are fun and interesting. Everything else is the same. Enemy, only thing I did here is I turned off enemy expansion and I upped the starting area because I don't like dealing with biters super early on. Of course, everyone is free to play as they choose. And over here, everything is, default settings. So that is my settings. Let us get into some Space Age here. I am super excited. I've been kind of not playing Factorio too much in expectation of playing a decent amount when Space Age came out, and here we are finally being able to play it. I'm so excited, and I hope that you guys have been playing it and are just as excited about it as I am. So let's get into it. It's been a while since I've really done the beginning. The beginning part can be super slow if you don't really know what you're doing, and it's been a while, so we'll see how fast we can get going. But of course, some things are definitely different than they used to be. For instance, over here, you used to actually have to make your red packs by hand to be able to research anything, and now we basically just start by making copper, making iron, and so on and so forth until we can finally get all the way up to actually making red packs. So it's very interesting. I do like it. I'm not going to be doing Lazy Bastard because I already have that achievement, but it would be probably a little bit easier, I would expect, now than it used to be, since some of those early researches. I don't know. Maybe it's like just as hard. I don't actually know, to be honest. So let's start by mining up some iron here and getting some iron plates so that we can make some more burner miners, and then we'll throw some down on the coal so that we can get coal more easily. Dude, I always forget that There we go. So let's see. There we go. We've got one, and we need 9 iron plates, I think, for the second one. This part of the game, of course, is going to be super slow, but you can see here that it's already showing that we have progress on this, even though we're not actually doing anything. And that's because this requires you to craft 50 iron plates. The nice thing, I think, about the changes that they made where you don't actually make the science packs anymore for some of the base things is, like, especially for some of the other planets, it really helps you get a feel for how you need to be going about actually using some of the resources that you get. And it can be super, super confusing when you first get to another planet. Like, I don't know what any of these resources are. I don't know how they work together. And especially, I think in vanilla, one thing that I think that they did do some of this. Isn't it like alt click? Yeah, you can alt click something, and you can see like the ingredients that it takes to make something. So like, let's say like rail signals, and you can see the ingredients that it takes to make that. And you can also see what it's used in. The only thing it doesn't really show is like any chains of like, you have to use this to make this, to make this, to make this. But I think that a lot of the other mods that did that in the past really didn't do it any differently than this. So I think this is such a nice change, because you're able to quickly go see, okay, these are all the things that I can use to make this. And especially as we get into some of the things in the other planets, you'll see what I mean, that it can be super confusing trying to get used to what the other resources do. And even for me, like as an experienced, or at least somewhat experienced modded player, I mean, I'm used to long, complicated chains and things like that, and it still took me a minute to wrap my brain around some of the new mechanics that they have. So I think that's really, really cool, and makes for a nice way of teaching somebody who's new to the game, which I would assume that there are tons and tons of new players wanting to play Factorio these days. It really gives them a great teaching moment on like, hey, here's like what you probably should be focusing on as you're figuring out how to progress. So I really, really love that a lot. Okay, we're almost here to steam power, and we're just doing, you know, very basic beginning of the game kind of things here. My goal, I don't really know what my goal is for this episode. I guess it'd be awesome if we could start getting a little bit of automation going, like maybe some miners up and some steam power, but I don't know that we'll actually end up getting that far, because that can take a minute to get there. Like, there's a lot to do leading up to that. So, and we of course need a ton of coal, and we're gonna expand this out here. There we go. All right, and then we have to craft copper for this. What? How many copper plates do we need? Just 10? I mean, not that it really matters. We need a lot of copper plates, so I'm just gonna do this anyways. Alright, so, I mean, one of the achievements that I still don't have, even from the old version of all the achievements, is I don't have the There Is No Spoon achievement, which is to launch a rocket in the first 8 hours. And that achievement actually used to be super, well, I won't say super hard. It definitely took some know-how, otherwise you probably would not be able to do it. But I never actually got around to doing a completely vanilla There Is No Spoon run. So my goal is to launch a rocket in the first 8 hours here, and they have made it easier. So it used to be that obviously launching a rocket was winning the game, and it is now nowhere close to winning the game. In fact, you have a long way to go still at that point, which is cool. I love, you know, I love playing mods where it expanded the game in the past, and so I love it just as much in vanilla expanding the game to go past just launching a rocket. Especially, you know, for those newer players out there, right? Like, it may seem daunting, like, oh, launching a rocket, like, there's a lot to do for that. And of course, yes, there is a lot to do for it. But it used to be that, like, especially people who have played the game a lot, like, got not bored exactly, but kind of bored launching just rockets, and that was it, right? And so the mods that a lot of people play are mods to extend the game and make things more interesting for a much longer period of time, where you're still having to solve new problems and do new things and go new places. So I really love that they've brought that same feel to vanilla. All right, let's chop down some trees here for some wood. I know I've been talking a lot and not really talking about the gameplay. There's not a lot to say. I'm just basically doing burner miner stuff, and that's about it. There's no finesse here. There's nothing. It's literally just brute force, grab stuff, keep crafting more, and that's about it. So we obviously need some stone. I just threw that down so we can make some more furnaces. And let's look at like the topography here. I'm thinking now, remember we have a huge ocean really up here, and we've got a pretty big one down here as well. So I'm thinking that we can build going either east-west, basically, is gonna, I always end up doing a bus. I know that buses are super boring, but it's also a great way to stay organized and stay consistent, and especially for us, like I said, I would love to launch a rocket in the first 8 hours, and I mean, people who have played before obviously know all of the novice stuff very well. Like, we've done it a ton of times, and for you newer people, novice is going to be super fun and interesting and exciting because you haven't done it before. But I'm also super excited to get to some of those other planets, as I know many people are, because there's so many awesome new things to see and do, and we don't want to miss out on all that stuff. So a bus is going to help us get there more quickly, and probably, like I said, stay more consistent. Okay, let's also be thinking about some power here. So we're going to do an offshore pump. Excuse me. And then this is something really good to know. So we're going to have a boiler, and we're going to have our steam engines that use the steam that the boiler makes. You see here in the panel that the steam engine consumes 30 steam per second, and this creates 60 steam per second. So basically, for every one of these boilers, you're going to want 2 steam engines. So we'll go 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. And so that should be plenty for now. Actually, it's probably more than enough. And by the way, when I'm doing this, I'm just holding down Z and mousing over them, and it's dropping a single one. There are probably easier ways to do that, but that's just how I always do it. It does drop them on the ground sometimes, like that. There's like a random piece of coal there on the ground, but that's how I do that. And then we're also going to have to, how do you go to the next? Oh, you just craft a lab. Okay. So we can do that here in a second. We can craft a lab. And since we have water down here, that's where our power is going to be. This spaceship is kind of in an awkward spot. I guess we'll do power like right here, and then we can run a coal line down for our boilers. Since obviously boilers need to have some kind of fuel to be able to boil. Let's see, these fit here? Oh, nice. That is like perfect. Okay, so then for this, there's actually like 2 different ways that people do this. One is you can just go 1, 2 again, but a lot of times people do like this. They'll do just a pipe in here. Go pipe, and then we got to make some small electric poles here, and this will fit right in here. Doesn't quite hit everything, unfortunately, but that's like an easy way to do that. Excuse me. And then we can just put some coal in there. We can put our lab down, and you'll see that these guys start making steam. They'll use the coal up pretty quickly, but we should have some power here. So you can see we can make up to 5.4 megawatts. Okay, let's see what we want to research first. The first thing we really want to do is automation here, which costs 10 automation science packs. So let's do that. Let's go 5, 10. Okay, and while those are crafting, let's actually work on some transport belts next. And we're going to go 1, 2, 3 burner inserters. And where is electric mining drills? We're going to want those next as well. So we'll just queue up some more of these when we can. Let's grab some more coal. Now early on, you're going to definitely need more iron than copper. As the game goes on, you may end up needing a lot more copper than you do need anything else. But that's just a general statement. It's not always true. Was it 25 that you needed for mining drills? 25, yeah. Probably want some logistics as well. Probably want some radar to get up and going and start surveying the surrounding area. But let's just start with the basics. Let's get things beginning to be automated, and the best way to do that is to get some miners going. So let's go through our science packs in our lab so that we can research our automation, which really is the first thing we need to automate. Oh, should probably queue that up. So let's do this, and then we're going to do this, and then this, and then this. And that should be good. All right, so we've got 60 belts here. That's not too many. Might not even be enough. It's not going to be enough, is it? No, it's not. That's all right. We'll just cancel some of these. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. 20 more, okay. All right, so that's doing its thing, and you can see here that automation is going. I also love the hover information here that they added, showing you exactly how much science per minute you're doing, and being able to keep track of that more easily than having to like go to your production tab to see whether or not you're, to see how you're progressing versus just showing you exactly how much your labs are using, which is super nice. All right, grab some more coal. And there we go. Okay. Grab more of that. All right, so we're gonna also be starting to craft some more stone furnaces. And like I said, we'll probably be doing a bus going this way, I would think. And we'll have, so this is a train world, and we will have trains because I love trains. Trains will be coming in over here-ish, and our belts will be like starting here and going this way pretty much. So that should be good. All right, we got 50 more belts now, which again, the belts don't really matter that much because, excuse me, because we don't have anything that's gonna be putting any items on them yet anyways. But here we go. That is done, and you can also see that there are a bunch of these science packs and all the way up to Prometheum science pack, which, what does that mean? I don't know yet. I haven't even gotten that far. I have not actually made all of these science packs yet, so there's a lot for me to learn still. Now, for everyone out there, something you may want to do is for your inserters for your power, you probably want to use burner inserters. They do take a very slight bit of power, but the nice thing is that if the power to your factory goes down because there's no coal and they're electric, they'll never start up again on their own. But if they're burner inserters and you like resupply the coal, they'll immediately start going again without any power. So that's the super nice thing about using burner inserters for your power like this. Excuse me. I probably should do some basic assembly and things like that, but I'm gonna actually start on a very, very small actually just kidding, we should do some actual like Factorio things, and by that I mean that we should definitely automate things. You want to start automating things basically as soon as possible. It's going to make your life so much easier, and actually you'll notice that if you do Lazy Bastard, which is where you only craft like 112 or something items, it makes life so much easier when you start realizing that if you just automate things, your life is actually much more simple. So let's do this. Let's craft some assemblers, and we can show a pretty easy way to just start early on some automation and just make things easier to begin with. So we're going to do that by crafting some circuits here, and we're going to just grab a box, We're gonna throw like half of this in there. Why did I do that there? I don't know. That should really be here. Half of that in there, half of that in there. And again, I messed up because I'm silly. Okay. And then let's do 3 inserters, 4 inserters. So this is gonna insert into here. This is gonna make copper cables because our electronic circuits take both iron plate and copper cable. That'll insert into here. This will insert from there, and then this will insert back into a box, and we'll have some very basic electronic circuit. Now we probably should do 1 more inserter here just to make things slightly faster, because each copper plate makes 2 copper cables, and this takes 3, so it'll just insert them slightly more quickly. And that's gonna, see, look, this has already made 9, and it just saves us so much crafting time that we could otherwise spend making important things like more science, which I think we're gonna need here. I actually don't know how many science we've used here on this particular one. I might have been 5 short, I don't know. And then we can do maybe another one of these, making like, well, we don't really need pipes yet. We can do gears though. Gears are another early one that just saves a lot of time. Now, speedrunners would do things like this way more quickly than I would. I am definitely no speedrunner. I don't have the, well, I have the slightest clue, but I don't have much experience even trying to do anything like that, so I will not pretend to do that. All right, we're just gonna throw those in there. We're just gonna make some iron gears and save ourselves some time. Nice. Okay. Now let's go run back up here. We're gonna have to go grab some more iron and copper, but we'll also be able to make some, excuse me, make some electric mining drills, which is what we've been wanting to do. Okay, grab some copper, grab some coal, and yeah, we're running out over here. All right, there we go. All right, so we got 20 stone furnaces. We're gonna be able to make a little bit more after that. Let's start first things first. We need to make miners so that we can have consistent power. Consistent power, especially early on, is going to be a really important thing. As the game goes on, you're going to realize that you don't need to worry about power at all, especially after a certain point. Or if you do, it's like just barely. And again, this is like kind of something that I've had to deal with in mod packs before, but the other planets, they have their own power issues, so you'll have to deal with it as you switch planets. But generally speaking, on Novice, you'll only have to worry about it until you get nuclear. Once you get nuclear, you just slap down another nuclear plant and call it good. Okay, so excuse me, jeez. As you can see, our power is basically out. We don't have any power, but as soon as these bits of coal make it down there, we'll start to have some consistent power. So that is good news. Let's grab more of these. 54 electronic circuits, not bad. Let's throw that in there. Let's grab some gears. Let's make some more science. And our first goal, really, like I said, is to get a basic smelting array down. Now, what does that actually mean? That means that we're gonna have an area over here that's gonna smelt iron, it's gonna smelt copper, and steel and other things. And that is gonna be kind of the beginning of our bus. So generally, I mean, I pretty much always do the same builds for these, so this is going to be nothing new, and I'm going to do my best to do completely new and interesting builds and not just using blueprints. I definitely prefer building that way. I think it's a lot more interesting, and just because I am going to be doing similar builds to what I have done before, it is not because I don't want to come up with something new. It's just I've used these so many times, and generally speaking, they work very well, and I don't see a reason to rewrite the playbook, remake the blueprints, whatever you want to call it. So We are going to be kind of sticking to that, but at the same time, there are going to be lots of new and exciting builds because we are going to be doing a lot of things that we haven't done before. So let's see, this has got 15. How many does this take? This takes 20. I think we have the exact amount. And that also takes 20. Okay, let's throw those in there. Let's throw those in there. Grab those. And we're gonna keep making more. I'm not gonna do a full smelting array to start, but I'm definitely gonna leave room to fill it in later. And now, one of the things that Factorio players, I think, have a tough time with is leaving room for everything. It's so easy to think like, oh man, I'm not gonna have like room, or I want things to be like close together, and I don't want them to travel far, and I'm just gonna slap it down right here because it'll do. But space is one of the most free things in Factorio. I mean, obviously with biters, you're gonna have to potentially fight some enemies, but generally speaking, space is free, and so don't feel bad about using more of it than maybe you think you have to. And that's definitely something that I have struggled with a lot because I'm always like, I should just do it right here. And then time goes on, I'll be like, man, I really wish I had done it like 10 tiles further. Whether it's for belts getting through or, you know, whatever. All right, so here's kind of how this smelting business works. Usually we just have it like this, and we are going to pick up iron or copper from this side along with coal, put them into our smelters, and this is going to put out plates. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty boring. Well, not boring per se, but it's definitely not the most interesting thing ever. And then as time goes on, we'll have it's basically going to work like this. There we go, and then we'll have some splitters here that do what we need them to do. Is this enough room? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's plenty of room. Okay, so this is like all I'm gonna do right here for now, and then we're gonna copy this. We'll leave 1 tile in between right now. 2, 3, 4. So this is gonna be like for iron, and then we'll do copper here. And that'll be copper, and then we'll have more than that, obviously, because we'll have steel, and steel will probably be up here. But for now, this will be good, and obviously these will go much further. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6, and we need. It's actually, well, it's 12 really. This is 12, and we need to go 12, 24, and then this. Oops. This needs to get doubled again. And this is what a full smelting array looks like. This should be 48. Yeah. It's 48 stone furnaces for yellow belts, and then it's going to be 48 steel furnaces for red belts. And we'll just copy paste this down again and again and again. And again, and again, and again. All right, cool. So those are going to be our smelting arrays, and I left 1 block gaps because having gaps is nice because you may want to run like a stone belt or stone bricks belt or something through there, and it'll just be a pain later on if you don't do it now. Okay, so that tech is researched. We're going to research radars, and then the next tech after this I think will be automated. So we'll leave that be. We'll grab this stuff. We'll pick all this up. I'm not that big on early temporary builds, unless you're speedrunning, which you have lots of temporary builds that become permanent and then end up transitioning to be useful somehow. But for me, I think it makes sense. We're just gonna grab like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of these guys for now. And we're gonna grab some more of these. I will say it was nice to have all those electronic circuits made for me because now I'm not, you know, in a position where I'm having to like handcraft a bunch of electronic circuits and it just takes forever. This process is much faster without having to craft electronic circuits. Cool. All right, so the reason I did 10 is we need some iron, we need some coal, we need some copper. So let's do the coal really quickly. I'm gonna do 4, I don't know. Oh shoot, this needs to be one further back. There we go. That way these are just like up against each other. Okay. And then let's use my hotbar because it's always good to use the hotbar. I always forget to use it, honestly. I just use the pipette tool, which is just hovering over something and clicking Q. It'll pick that for you. I use that so much, and I just forget to use the hotbar. So I'll try and use the hotbar as best as I can. This should be this. Pipes, undergrounds, I don't know. Generally some good things to have. Okay. So we've got coal. Now this coal is going to be used, at least for now. Oh shoot, I need a bunch of belts. Okay, in the meantime, let's go put down some electric mining drills over here. We're going to avoid this line between stone and iron right now. And we'll just start here. Okay, that's going to be that. We also need some more electric poles, which means we need some more wood. Now, I don't really know at this point how useful it would be, but you can actually make wood now in vanilla Factorio, which you used to not be able to. You used to have to literally chop trees to be able to find wood. And usually you had way too much wood anyways at that point. Like later on in the game, you just like have so much wood from chopping down forests that you don't know what to do with it, but I don't know if it's actually useful to be able to do that, but you can do it now, which is cool. I'm sure that modders will have some reason or other for the vanilla version now, but in the past, if you wanted to chop trees automated, you had to have modded Factorio because that was the only way you could do it. It wasn't a vanilla thing. Hello, chop that tree, please, thank you. Like I said, trees are the real enemy, and you can see that here because this is just like tedious and annoying. Alright. Again, another tree in the way of my beautiful belt. Okay. Let's make sure that we keep crafting transport belts because we are going to need them. Now here, this right here is what I mean, splitters, and we're going to have undergrounds. Okay. So let's do this. All right, and then we are going to, this is going to be, like I said, iron. We are going to do copper as well. We need to do that. Oops, I was standing in the way, so did it in the wrong spot. One extra belt there that we can save. We got to be efficient. Got to be efficient. The Factorio community does have an issue with being efficient. If you're not being efficient, you're not playing the right. And that's just wrong, because there are so many ways to play this game, and some of the ways are definitely not the most efficient ever. And that's okay. They don't have to be. If you are playing and you are succeeding by, you know, making progress and having fun, it is okay if it's not the most perfect and efficient thing ever. And that belt was not, that belt was one off. It needs to be here. And then we can split. And then we're gonna have to split again, like right here. So we need another splitter. And then this is gonna go this way. And this is gonna go this way. Excuse me. And then this is gonna go this way. And this is gonna go this way. And then this will go underground. And then we need 1, 2, 3 more splitters. And we're running low on circuits already. Goodness sakes. And then this is gonna go here, and then another splitter here. And there we go. All right, so that is gonna be coal, and you can see that the coal like ends up on the splitter here, and then ends up on both of these belts. We do need some power for these. We still need some more inserters. All right, this should be pretty quick, I think, to get all this done. And then on the next episode, we'll actually work on the beginnings of some automation for our first science pack, which again is going to go pretty quickly. Let's quickly craft this though. I would like to get some sight around us, and the radar will start scanning the different areas around us and hopefully reveal some resources and things like that. All right, let's run a power pole. Let's keep crafting power poles. Let's run some power up here to our iron mines. And hopefully later in the game we'll have the ability and time to make iron, or to make power lines that are nice and straight and uniform, but that is not always the case. And let's actually, before we do this, let's figure out how we want to do this. We're probably going to go here. I definitely want to leave room for these other lines that are going to be coming in. And this can go right like that, just so that we can line things up without having to mess around at all. All right, so come right down here. And I guess while we're crafting these transport belts, let's go throw these other 4 mines down. And these ones will be for copper, because we're going to do basically the same thing for copper that we're going to be doing for iron. So we'll go, let's do up and down so that we can go out the bottom here. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, oops, 1, 2, and we'll do 3, 4, just so that it's, come on, just so that it's even on the sides of the belt. Okay. And we'll go like this. And by the way, if you hold and drag your power poles, it'll always take them to the greatest extent that it possibly could while still being connected to the previous power pole, which is super, super helpful. Okay, let's go grab our iron from here really quickly, since we've been using a lot for crafting transport belts, and let's keep crafting more transport belts. And once we get this first like iron bit up, it'll make life a lot easier because we won't have to, well, we'll make things automated pretty quickly here. Now we do need to get power to this stuff. All right, there we go. And then we'll just do the same thing over here. There we go. And those power poles are going to be nice and uniform. And then we'll just run this straight over to our power lines. There we go. And that should start making iron in here as soon as the iron starts coming in, which there it is from our mines. It's going to be super slow for now, but that's okay. And then we'll just run this belt down, which is going to have our iron on it. And then down here, what we can do is we can actually plan out a little bit. And we'll make this the last bit of our episode here. And but generally speaking, for a bus like this, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to have 4 belts. They don't have to, it doesn't have to be 4, but 4 is the easiest because at the beginning we have underground belts that can go only 4, like this. That way you could have an underground that covers all of the belts, and you only have to use 1 underground for it. And you don't have to like do a bunch of shenanigans. And also on that topic, what you would do is, like, if you were running a belt across the bus, you'd go like this and you go like this. And so you want to have 2 spaces in between your 4 belts like this, so you could do something like this without, you know, interruption. So what we'll do is we'll have something like this where we have 4 belts, 4 belts, 4 belts, and then 2 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to do this 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know that this is all the belts that I'll have. How many is this? It's 8. 8 sections. But if we think about it, like we're going to have iron, we're going to have copper, we're going to have green circuits. And so right there, that's 12 of your belts. And then from there, we'll have like some red belts or some red chips on belts. We'll have blue chips. We'll have things like stone. We'll have stone bricks. We'll have, trying to think of other things. Generally speaking, you'll end up with at least this many things. I don't know if this is the perfect number, but it's a good enough number. And I'll probably leave a little bit more room on either side just in case we want to add more belts. But this is a good starting point. You may even want more than 4 iron lines or more than 4 copper lines. But at that point, you may actually have dedicated builds for them, and it may not matter anyways. But this is like a good starting point anyways. So that is going to be it for today. We have made it decently far into this towards automation. We're going to finish off our copper line at the beginning of next episode, and then we're going to do 2 things. We're going to start by automating the rest of red science. So you can see there's a bunch of things to research here still. So we'll work on finishing those off. We'll work on doing green, which is really, really easy. And then we'll also work towards a mall, which we'll talk about that is next time. So thank you guys so much for joining me today. I know that we didn't get a lot of stuff done, but I am really, really looking forward to where this is going to go and all of the new and fun and exciting things. And I'm looking forward to sharing it with all of you as well. So hope you stay tuned, and I will catch you on the next one.